enough for SEMA.
If you're just tuning in now, in the previous video, we primarily focused on the paint prep stage of this project, which involved some light body work and Bondo, although we did manage to get a little bit of paint work in as well. So let's pick up right at where we left off and get back into it. In addition to thoroughly painting the body of this car, I also wanted to paint the engine bay. And since the engine has to be swapped anyway, we can go ahead and take out the existing engine now. Once the engine's out, we can give everything a quick pressure washing to remove any grease. We can then procrastinate for about 5 months, and then position the vehicle in our makeshift paint booth from the previous episode. So the reason this project has taken so long is mainly due to environmental factors. I live right between an active farm and an active quarry, so air quality can vary drastically day to day. I also live in what is technically Northern Virginia, but it is in a more rural part of Northern Virginia, so the humidity can be bad on warm days as well. Throw insect activity into the mix, and that really only leaves early spring and late fall as ideal times for painting. Oh, but then you gotta factor in the fact that with these seasons, there's a lot of wind here. And I know you hear blah blah excuses, but it really is not ideal to paint when there's large bugs flying around or when the wind is blowing air back into your shop, which could introduce dust, and humidity tends to affect the quality of a paint job as well. So here we are over a year later from when we started filming the disassembly, and the car is still not painted. So I brought some help over from Fuzzy Dice Projects once again, and we're going to try and come up with a strategy to get the car painted.
Man, these tools are just too far away, but luckily I could do this. And everything's right here. How convenient. You know when I'm done? Bring it right back where it was. Resume masking.
While Mike put the paint booth walls back up, I would mask off components in the engine bay that were not getting painted. After checking the entire body for any loose primer, it was decided that we would paint the engine bay first, and then come around and correct any deficiencies on the rest of the car while the engine bay dried, which would then allow us to more efficiently use our time to come and do the color and clear coats. Just like last time, I was having difficulty getting the primer to come out in a nice, thin, and smooth stream. However, due to the shape of the engine bay, I was kind of forced to use a narrower fan anyway, which helped with the primer texture quite a bit. This narrower fan also helped on many of the remaining body components. The good thing about automotive paint is it sets pretty quickly, so within the same hour we can sand out any imperfections. With the engine bay primer looking good, we can move on to the color coat. And for this car, we will paint it a nice metallic black. The cowl and front grille will also get this metallic black color, while the rest of the body will get a nice coat of Plum Crazy. Once color coat coverage on those parts look good, we can move on to the clear coat. Since it took us so long to get the paint booth set up and get all of the primer on the car corrected, I would have to resume painting the rest of the body the following day. Since editing the previous episode of this series, I have definitely picked up a few painting techniques that have improved the finish of the paint. Although I still can't seem to get clear coat quite where I want it to be. At first glance, the finished product actually looks quite nice, but the clear coat is not as glossy as it should be. To correct this, we can very carefully sand the clear coat with 2000 and 3000 grit sandpaper, and then come in with some cutting and polishing compounds to create a nice and glossy surface.
Super shiny, right?
Wow. Can I do tomorrow the makeup? I will do makeup here.
Just like painting a car, performing paint correction on a car can take years or even a lifetime to completely master. While I did a pretty good job here and the car looks great under most lighting conditions, up close you can still see little valleys in the clear coat that will not be able to be buffed out. And if you try to buff them out, this will happen. So we burn through here, 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 here,
What a hectic experience painting your own car is.
The spots where primer is showing through is obvious, but what might not be as obvious is the darker purple spots are where the clear coat is also burned all the way through. And unfortunately, when this happens, you actually have to respray the color coat and then the clear coat. If you try and clear over the dried color coat, it's not going to look right. It's still going to be discolored in that area. So it's just all around a really frustrating situation, but I also feel like it's something most painters had to deal with when they were learning as well. And I could spend the rest of my life in the garage with this car trying to get it as perfect as possible and trying to master paint, but I think I'm at a good enough point where we can start putting the body kit back on and put the wheels on, and we can try and correct some of the more severe imperfections with the car assembled. I told everyone that the car would be back for Carlisle 2021, and it is now almost 2023, so in order to meet that Carlisle 2023 deadline, the engine needs to go back in it in the next couple of months. Despite some minor cosmetic shortcomings, overall the car is looking a lot better. And I think once the hatch and hood are on the car, along with all of the glass and interior, a lot of the current imperfections are going to be a lot less noticeable. And hopefully between now and the next video, I can continue working on the clear coat to correct those imperfections. Anyways, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.